us. I had known of Fortnite for a couple of years, just saw people mentioning it here and there. For some reason, I never actually played it until my best friend sort of forced me to set it up on my computer and play with them. They insisted on playing in squads, which is what you call playing in groups of 4 people. My friends were Max, John, and Dan. Max was actually the best player among us. He spent hours and hours playing Fortnite. He knew the game inside out and was basically the one who started this squad match. His parents were away for a week, and his aunt, who was staying with him, didn't mind him playing Fortnite. John was the second best, who joined recently, but was a smart kid who is just good at everything he does. Then there was Dan. He was silent most of the time and spoke only when he had problems and needed some help. I think his parents weren't very happy about him playing Fortnite, so he had to be cautious and make sure they don't hear him playing it. Max, John, and I were just goofing around, making jokes, encouraging each other, and just talking about nothing the whole time. You know how it goes. It was my first time playing Fortnite. Max and John did their best to help me understand over the headset how to play.
Oh, how they're all
I started to
defaults.
make some progress. I was getting more and more excited, finally seeing why people were so into Fortnite. At some point, I realized that Max, our best player, was silent for a minute or so. From the start, he was the one who was leading us from one point to another, but now he stopped dead in his tracks. His character just stood still. Max, what are you doing? Move, John said, sounding annoyed. But his character continued to stand still in one place. Max hadn't replied, but his mic was on, and I could definitely hear some background noise coming from his end. John, me, and Dan were all telling Max to move, or we would just ditch him if he had decided to take a break and watch a movie or something. I picked up my phone to call his house, and right when I was about to do that, a dreadful, almost painful loud scream came from Max's mic. It didn't sound like he was screaming into the mic or anything. It seemed like he was somewhere in the room a couple of meters away. I was horrified, too scared to say anything and waiting for Max to laugh and tell us what a fun prank he'd played on us. A couple of seconds later, we heard a door slam shut. When I heard the door, I told the others I would call Max right away and turned off my console. Worried sick and with shaking hands, I dialed Max 5 times, but he never picked up. I left messages telling him if he was trying to fool us, I would never talk to him ever again. 10 minutes passed with no response, so I decided to take my parents' car and drive to his house, which was only 10 minutes away. I told my mom I had to pick up a school project from Max and would be back soon. When I got to his house, there were no cars in the driveway, but the front door was wide open. The lights were on in the house. I parked and ran into the house, shouting Max's name and searching for him. How stupid of me. What if something terrible had happened and the responsible person was still in the house? At the time, I didn't think about that. I was just worried sick for Max. Suddenly, I heard Max screaming back from somewhere upstairs. I followed his voice and found him in the bedroom, hiding in the wardrobe. He whispered for me to hide. I refused and told him to get out and tell me exactly what happened. He whispered that there was someone in his bedroom. I joined him in the wardrobe and told him that I searched the house and there was nobody. Besides, the front door was open, and if there was somebody, they had fled in a hurry. It took him a while to calm down and finally tell me the whole story in detail. He said that when he was playing Fortnite with us, he suddenly heard a tiny tap under his bed.